And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, to kick things off in our second half of the middleweight division. We got Marcelo Bzowski coming into this fight. Well over 40 fights under his belt. Argentinian born, been training for the last 14 years. Interesting fact, learned English playing video games, and he is ready for action.
As we await his opponent, Eugene Hill Jr. Eugene, 7-0, 6 KOs, looking to remain perfect here tonight against the veteran.
We have a shot of Bzowski as we await the arrival of Eugene Hill Jr. Constellation Field here in Sugarland, Texas. I am Todd Moore, calling the action here with Clay Roberts. We've had an awesome night of fights thus far. Still 3 more title fights to go, so be sure to spread the word to your friends and family and any boxing and fight fan that you know to check out clearlifemedia.com. And there we see, making his way on down the stairs to the cage, Eugene Hill Jr. As you were saying, Clay, the undefeated 7-0, 6 knockouts to his credit, 5'10", 23 years of age. This will be his 3rd fight of 2023. I was fortunate to call his fight against Lucius Johnson, in which he finished that one with a spectacular first round knockout victory.
Yeah, you know, we're here at Constellation Field, and there's no doubt that the future stars of boxing are out. Eugene Hill looking to be one of those, looking to maintain a perfect record, wearing his lush coat. Look at the beautiful drone shot as we got it earlier in the night. You know, here at Constellation Field, it's a gorgeous stadium. We're thankful to be here, grateful to be calling some fights. Let's throw it to the announcer for the official introductions.
Next fight up in association with Constellation Field. Our proud sponsors, Emmett Cigars, New Me Hair Restorations, along with Amir Godhaya Wealth Strategies, and being broadcast on Clear Life Media pay-per-view. Our judges are Dr. Kelly Isaac, Gregorio Alvarez, and Eva Beltran. In charge of the action is referee James Green. Presenting the fighter in the blue corner. He enters wearing black with white trim. He weighed in at 159 pounds tonight. This battle-tested veteran enters the next fight up ring for the 38th time as a pro. From Huila, Argentina, Marcelo Crazy Bzowski. Across the ring in the red corner, wearing black with purple and silver trim on the scale. He registered an official 161 3/4 pounds tonight. He enters the next fight up ring in his 8th professional bout with an undefeated record of 7 victories. 6 of those victories coming by way of KO. From Dickinson, Texas, Eugene, the Emperor, Hill Jr.
Hey, gentlemen, this is 6-round bout. You got the instructions in the dressing room. I want you to take the stuff at all times. At all times, I want you to obey my commands. So, gloves, back to your corners.
James Green in charge of this contest between Eugene Hill and Marcelo Bzowski. This will be the 3rd undefeated fighter in a row that Bzowski has taken on. His last 2 opponents were 9-0 and 7-0 respectively.
You know, the typical journeyman fighter looking to play spoiler and test the young guns.
Southpaw versus conventional matchup. Bzowski the southpaw in the black trunks. Hill in the silver trunks.
It's always good to get in there as a younger fighter, face off against these southpaws and start learning the puzzle early.
Hill has the power to stop this fight at any moment. 6 KOs to his credit, to that undefeated record of his. Still very early on in the young career of Eugene Hill. His toughest fight was a split decision victory over Isaiah Jones back in December of 2021. Since then, all stoppages.
Tell the way he's loading up his legs, he's looking to explode. Is Hill.
Go to the body. Bzowski answers back.
Eugene Hill just feeling his way in, waiting for his moment to explode. You see the size difference in just the legs. He's got those big, powerful legs looking to explode from the hip.
Yeah, those big tree trunks of Eugene Hill Jr. This is going to be a good experience for him to take on a southpaw. Don't know how many southpaws he has experience against, especially at the pro level at his young career. So this will be good for him to get some reps in for on down the line.
Absolutely. It's always an interesting matchup when you see southpaw orthodox. You see early, Hill Jr. having to reach just a little bit to find his power shot. That's the difference with the southpaw. Ooh, we almost saw a clash of heads there, Todd.
Yeah, you got to be careful there, especially with the southpaw in the conventional matchup. That could happen. One minute left in this opening round. Eugene Hill Jr., known as the Emperor. Will he reign supreme in the future? We shall see.
And he's still having a hard time kind of touching and feeling his way in against the southpaw, waiting for his opportunity.
Bzowski, the 37-fight veteran. More seasoned of the two, also 34 years of age. He's been there and he's done that. Good test for Hill.
Absolutely. Hill threw a big power right hook. It just went over the head of Bzowski.
Feeling out process in this opening round.
Ooh. Good series of punches there by Bzowski. And again, he's throwing those straights, and they're managing to just find the target.
Short time left in this opening round. Round one in the books. Feeling out process for Eugene Hill in that round. See what adjustments he makes to remain undefeated in round number two.
Absolutely, a very close first round, surprisingly so. Might give the edge to Bzowski. There's no doubt, you know, Hill was being tentative, and Bzowski, the veteran, he's a little bit more accustomed to these situations, these big fight feels, if you will. And so he was able to land a little bit better punches. You know, the knockout puncher couldn't quite find his opening there. Let's see what happens in round two, though.
You have to wonder, in studying for his opponent, if Eugene Hill Jr. also noticed that Bzowski's last two opponents also were undefeated. They were also able to get the stoppage win over Bzowski. So you have to wonder if he put some undue pressure on himself.
It's very possible. You know, you never know the psychological side of the game. The only person that truly knows what's going through Eugene Hill Jr.'s mind is Eugene Hill Jr.
Round two underway.
Todd, already seeing Eugene is looking to throw his jab a little bit more and feel his way in as opposed to just waiting for that power shot.
Bzowski's last victory was in October of 2019, a unanimous decision over Fernando Cleef. Can he serve a spoiler here tonight?
Hill looking to just feel his way in. There we go, found his range. The southpaw matchup, I think, is proving to be a little bit of a problem for Hill. As we saw a good hook from Bzowski come right over the top of that guard.
This is definitely the time in his career that he wants to learn what he can against a difficult, unorthodox fighter.
Good left straight by Bzowski.
Argentinian-born fighter in Bzowski.
Seeing, though, as he finds his confidence, Bzowski's hit.
Oh, lead uppercut there from Bzowski.
Yeah, jumping in. That's a tip. That's a classic southpaw tactic. Kind of jump in.
Arguably the best fight. I mean, best punch landed of the fight so far.
Yeah, no doubt. Kind of jumping in uppercut, a la Amir Khan.
Hill now trying to make him pay. Show him exactly why he's 7-0.
Absolutely. Again, trying to take that southpaw footwork away. Force him into a phone booth if you can.
Man, Hill has really been digging to the body. He's throwing with authority.
And if that makes the hands drop for Bzowski, then his head will be wide open. We've seen big hooks being thrown from Hill all night. Oof. And Hill's throwing everything into these punches. You got to think he is, if he doesn't get the knockout, he might tire himself out, honestly.
That's always a possibility. But Eugene Hill Jr., an elite athlete, probably prepared as best as he could to ensure something like that does not happen here.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Every shot is a power shot.
Just under 10 seconds left in round 2. Bzowski lands a solid right there to counter.
Much closer, I think, than the first round. I actually might give this one to Hill. Unofficial scorecards, obviously, folks.
Round 2 in the books. Yeah, every shot that Hill has been throwing has been all power shots. And even if you're blocking those, I mean, he's been putting a drumming on the body of Bzowski. Bzowski, excuse me, a 37-fight veteran, able to make some adjustments. Use his seasoned veteranship, to survive these 2 rounds. Man, some decent shots himself in round 2, actually.
Absolutely. That was actually something Rocky Marciano talked about back in the day. He said I wouldn't always hit them, where I was aiming. Sometimes I'd just hit their arms. And obviously, they had a lot longer fights back then, 15 rounds, a lot longer than, the 6 we have tonight. But if you just keep hitting somebody in the arm, eventually those arms want to start to creep down a little bit, and you'll open up some of those power shots.
See what adjustments both fighters have made for round 3.
Eugene Hill looking for his big shot again. This is more of what we saw in the first round.
Warning from the ref to keep the hands up. Excuse me, the punches up from Bzowski. As we were saying earlier, just putting a beating on Bzowski's body.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Bzowski lands a big shot there.
Definitely hear that one. Curious how that one felt, though.
Ooh, I'm not. Yeah, when Hill uses his jab, that second shot is almost always landing, but Bzowski staying in there. Ooh, good southpaw left straight from Bzowski as he circles out. Look at this, Hill's trying to back up Bzowski into that corner.
It's interesting, if you take a look at Bzowski's face, he gives Hill acknowledgement frequently in this fight. It's like hard to tell if you're like, Hill, what is he exactly trying to do with that? Are you hurting him? Is he acknowledging that you gave him some power shots? Is he acknowledging he's still in the fight, or what?
When you got a older fighter like this, I got to think he's just saying, good shot, young man. You caught me on that one. Good job. I know what you're trying to do. It's possible. It could be anything.
Hill, unfazed by any of it, still looking to swing away.
And Bzowski is doing a good job of circling out and landing, surprisingly.
Wasn't a bad little counter there from Bzowski.
Another big left hand over the top.
Definite underdog in this fight. He's hanging in there a heck of a lot better than I expected.
Yeah, definitely doing a really good job. He's definitely landing the bigger punches this round, just with the southpaw tactics. Watch these shifts off to his right. He's going to look to land the left hand. Shift out. Didn't throw the left.
This is definitely probably a fight for Eugene Hill Jr. to learn the most from.
Yeah, no doubt. Southpaw is giving him trouble. It's nothing fancy if you know southpaw tactics. It's just
Oh,
giving a
was-
lot of trouble.
Referee James Green rules that a slip.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The movement of the southpaw, Todd, it's the key movement. As you have your left hand set back, your right hand is forward, and you're just floating to your right. You want to get outside the lead foot. You want to make sure that the orthodox fighter has to keep turning to face you and keep turning to find his power hand. And unfortunately, he's not able to do it. It looks like Hill Jr. is having a hard time keeping up with the southpaw here as we're going into round 4 of a 6-round fight, and he's having a hard time, surprisingly so.
On my unofficial scorecard, I probably would have to give that round to Bzowski.
I got to agree with you. I think it might be 2-1, maybe either way, depending on how you scored the first one. I think, I don't know how you scored the first round, but I think Hill definitely took the second, and I think I give that one to Bzowski.
I unofficially have it 2-1 for Hill. We shall see how this story unfolds. Can Hill make the adjustments and earn his 7th knockout victory here tonight? 8 overall. Definite test in the young career of Eugene Hill Jr. Much needed one.
Yeah, absolutely. Learn it while you're young, like you said. Oof. I think that body shot might have done some damage. We saw a little bit of a grimace on the face of Bzowski.
Bzowski now backing up more.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where Hill's had success, is the pressure, coming in with his jab. Every time he's tried to play patient, Bzowski's just able to use his craft and get to the outside just like that, floating outside that lead foot.
Hill stalking Bzowski, looking for that one shot. Crafty veteran in Bzowski.
Yeah, Bzowski knows it. He's floating away from that power, too. That's the advantage of the southpaw. Floating away from the power, floating away from the power.
Once again, circling right.
Absolutely, he's found the rhythm. Now, this could be an issue here.
And that's why, though not an impressive record for Bzowski, you do have to respect the 37 fights under the belt
Absolutely.
of a 34-year-old Argentinian-born fighter.
Absolutely. I mean, oof, that right hand landed.
Definite Eugene Hill round.
No doubt he is walking down the veteran, landing more. Bzowski hanging in there as well, though. Bzowski landing now. You see they're just circling out.
Warning from James Green about punches to the back of the head. Bzowski trying to say that, I guess, Hill was having his head low.
Yeah, it's one of those weird situations where if he leans his head back down into a punch and you hit it, whose fault is it? But you can't hit him in the back of the head either way you slice it.
Yeah, intentional or not. I wouldn't necessarily think that those were intentional, but Bzowski now trying to mow down Hill. Hill coming back. Nice way to end round 4.
Bzowski feeling good at the end of that round. I got to wonder how the judges score it, because we were saying it was definitely Hill's round at the start, but Bzowski landed some good shots there at the end.
Yeah, it's those type of movements right there that can definitely sway specific judges one way or the other. They have very short memories sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They call it stealing rounds, folks. So we're going now in to round number 5. This has actually been a much closer fight than we expected, and Bzowski, it's the southpaw tactics. It's the lesson for the young man over there, for Eugene Hill Jr. Learning how to deal with the southpaws. The southpaws floating out to his side, and it's very simple tactics. There's not a lot of layers to it, but it's basic fundamentals for fighting a southpaw. You have to learn them when you're young.
Round 5 coming up of a scheduled 6. Our screen may say 4, but it's actually round 5 coming up. There we go.
There we go. Just took us a minute. You know, Hill just has to get to Bzowski with the power. We know he has it. He's been swinging with it all night. But the craft has overcome the power so far. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Best shot of the night for Hill. He smells blood. Can he capitalize on this, Clay?
Good job by Bzowski. Still moving. Still trying to get away from that power, trying to tie up. But Hill is closing in.
This is where that experience from Bzowski comes into play. He's going to need every bit of that 37 fight experience to stop this young man.
He needs to be careful.
Hill can feel it.
Yeah, he smells blood in the water. He's giving chase.
Hill now going for it. Chasing down Bzowski.
He's walking into the power now as Bzowski to the right hand.
See if Hill can capitalize.
Hill needs to take a step to his left and force Bzowski into the power hand. He has to close the door on the southpaw.
Oh, good left there from Bzowski, surprisingly.
Absolutely.
Hill answering back with his own.
Hill needs to close the distance and close the door. Can't let Bzowski keep floating out just like this. He needs to throw. Yeah, he can't get thrown on. That's the opposite of what he needs. Once that door is closed, he's got to make a shot because he's getting pieced up on the outside. But Todd, there's no doubt who has the power advantage. My goodness, every shot for Hill moves the body of Bzowski.
And he's just trying to bull him over right now. Bzowski gives him that acknowledgement of that head nod. He's still swinging away himself.
Absolutely.
Just under 30 seconds left in this 5th round. Man.
Both fighters landing there.
And Bzowski having no respect for the power of Hill. He's sticking his nose in there and he's throwing down.
Swinging. My goodness.
Heck of a round for both fighters. Definite Eugene Hill round, but man, that was a lot of heart from Bzowski.
Yeah, no doubt. This fight is so much closer than we thought it would be. You know, this would be great tape study for young fighters to see why fighting a southpaw can be so dangerous and how even if you're the younger, stronger, faster fighter, the craft and the tactics can make it a hard fight for you. I'm sure Eugene Hill didn't expect this to be quite as difficult as it was.
I don't think any of us did there, Clay.
It's always, you know, I always get excited when I see southpaws fight. It's just something interesting, something special, and you know, it's a little magic about it because there's a puzzle to be solved there, and you get to see the fighter's brain work and their fight IQ come into play.
Is Eugene Hill waiting to save the best for last as we are entering into the final round? Can we see the best of Eugene Hill in this closing stanza?
If I'm the corner of Eugene Hill, I'm telling him, close the door on the southpaw, take steps out to your side, and force Bzowski to circle into your power.
I'm sure Hill's wanting that knockout real bad.
Of course.
As we were saying earlier, Bzowski taking on his 3rd undefeated fight in a row. I mean, that's going to harden up anybody. Might have made some adjustments and learned himself.
Yeah, no doubt. It's one of those things where the young fighter might be the favorite, but Bzowski has seen more fights. He's been through wars, I'm sure, and back. And, you know, he's been there. He's seen it all. He's seen young fighters, undefeated fighters. This is nothing new for the veteran.
Man, Hill. Oh, is that almost like a clash of heads for a moment?
Yeah, maybe so.
Eugene Hill keeps just plowing forward. Almost look like a young Mike Tyson there, leaping with that hook.
Yeah, absolutely. Key to that is going to be the ring cutting. Bzowski again, the circle out. Hill needs to take that step to his left right here. See, he's just letting Bzowski float away from him, float away from the power.
Straight left there from Bzowski. We're halfway into this 6th and final round.
And what is a very close fight, surprisingly so. There's no doubt Hill has had the cleaner power shots. Bzowski has had the better craft, in my opinion.
Yeah, Bzowski's definitely doing better in this fight than anticipated. On paper, looked like a Eugene Hill fight all day. But learned a lot in this matchup.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. There's some disrespectful fans here who have obviously never been in a boxing match.
Combo. Wobble there from Bzowski after he threw the combo.
Absolutely.
Man. Disheartening to see. Those fights are catching up to the 34-year-old, 37-fight veteran.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hope that's not the case.
We have the last 10 seconds here of the final round.
Man, Bzowski coming on strong in this closing stanza. And Eugene Hill Jr. and Marcelo Bzowski go the distance. Unofficially, I feel Hill took at least 4 rounds, but
they were close. They were close.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of look at the young fighter and you're like, do they tip it in his favor to help the young man out? But how do you score it? It's either way a great fight, a surprising fight. We got to give it up to both fighters. Hill stayed in there, stayed dogged, throwing hard the whole time, and Marcelo Bzowski, man, the crafty veteran. Everyone kind of fit the bill, in my opinion.
I think Eugene Hill did enough to get the nod here tonight, but I do think there's a solid argument for two rounds for Bzowski, which is surprising. I was anticipating a blowout, knockout victory for Eugene Hill Jr.
Yeah,
but
when you look at the resumes, yeah.
But this is definitely a fight that he needed, especially this early on in his career, because he no doubt would be taking on another southpaw at some point in his career.
Yeah, one thing I think we'll all agree on is him not getting the knockout here will probably help him more than if he would have come out and gotten a knockout in the first round. There's so much to learn from. Just studying the tape of how he handled the southpaw matchup.
All right, let's make it official. Hand it over to our ring announcer. Oh, wow, split decision. Oh. Wow, Clay. And Marcelo Bzowski and Eugene Hill Jr. fight to a draw. Eugene Hill's first ever draw in his young professional career. I don't find that totally inappropriate.
Yeah, and I think that is the correct call, believe it or not, because we were actually disagreeing down here at the booth. I thought Bzowski did enough to win. You thought Hill did enough to win. So it's a draw. And, you know, and like I said, I think this is actually better for Hill in the long run. There's a lot of tape here to study. He's got 6 rounds of how to not deal with a southpaw, and he's going to learn from that. He's going to come back a much better fighter. And for Bzowski, you just went in there against your 3rd straight undefeated fighter and figured out how to get to the draw. You know, the old crafty veteran finds a way to keep things interesting, as we see some histrionics there in the ring, having fun still.
Yeah, and I'd probably argue after fighting those 2 undefeated fighters prior to this, you know, Eugene Hill Jr. probably took on the best Marcelo Bzowski that he had to offer.
Yeah, no doubt. He looked fantastic tonight. He was landing his combos, you know, moving his feet, not getting boxed into a corner. He did a very good job kind of teaching a lesson to the younger fighter.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have our 3 title fights coming up.